If this is your first year on the road, you may be concerned about what to do about the holiday season. Or you may be wondering, how do you do your normal family celebrations while being a nomad? Welcome to the live stream. I'm Joni Zander. I'm the content creator and road guide here at the Galavan. I help women get on the road and become successful nomads. After the live stream tonight, I'll be opening up the discussion in butter to the women in the Gal Adventurers group on Facebook. You can get the link in the group. And if you have any questions as we go along, go ahead and put them in the chat, starting with a question mark, and I'll do my best to answer them at the end. And of course, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't remind you to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And if you know someone who's wanting to get on the road, please share my videos with them. So, becoming a nomad frees you from many of the daily life obligations that we all face. In this live stream, I'm going to share strategies that I and many other nomads have used to enjoy the holiday season. And when I say holiday season, I'm referring to Halloween, Thanksgiving, and the myriad winter religious and secular holidays that you may or may not celebrate. Your decisions may be different depending upon whether you have kids or not, how close you are to your extended family, how religious you or your family is, and how independent you feel. This whole session is going to be kind of a it depends because when you're a nomad, you get to choose what works for you and the people that you're closest to. But what I'm going to do is share with you what works for a lot of different nomads. All right. So, if you're from a northern state, you may already want to be migrating to warmer areas. It might be starting to get really cold where you are. A lot of nomads wait until after the holiday season to head south, but a lot of nomads don't. It's totally up to you. So, if you'll be waiting until after the holidays, you may be staying with family or friends just to keep warm. Just know that being a nomad gives you the flexibility to spread that love around. Or if you find an RV park where you can plug in and run an electric heater, so you have options. So if you're staying in those northern states where it's getting really cold, just know that there are lots of options for you. Now, instead of staying in the north where it's getting cold, you may want to head south already and either fly or drive back for specific holidays. So, my first year on the road, I took advantage of being on the road and spent Thanksgiving with a good friend in Arizona. And I drove back to Oregon for Christmas with my adult daughters. Um, that same year, there were a lot of nomads gathering for what used to be the van build party, and they they intentionally had that go right up until Thanksgiving, and so then they had a big group Thanksgiving in the middle of the desert, and just having something like that, something really celebratory with a lot of different people you wouldn't have met otherwise can be really fulfilling, for your life on the road. Now, if you do decide that you wanna do your own thing this year, there are lots of groups that you can join in with. Full-time nomads are more likely to be organizing gatherings around holidays than part-timers, so starting with groups that cater to full-timers like escapers can be a good way to go. So I happen to know that Escapers has a Halloween convergence coming up in Las Vegas. They have what they're calling a Friendsgiving Thanksgiving event, I think in Joshua Tree, and then they also have a New Year's Eve event. There's also an event coming up in Lake Havasu City called Chasm Fest at the end of October, and I imagine a lot of nomads will meet there for the first time, or meet their long-term friends there, and then gather from there. So that is a really common thing to do when you go to big events, is to meet people at those events and then make arrangements from there to do more things. So, going to something like Chasm Fest at the end of October can be a really great way to kick off your holiday season as a new nomad. There are caravans that usually start in mid to late October, and you can check. I know Homes on Wheels Alliance in the past has organized those. Right now, their website is saying that those are suspended for right now. So I don't know the story on that, but that can also be a great way, especially if you're a new nomad, to get in with a group of people and just have that feeling of safety and also learning the ropes of boondocking on your own, when you're first getting started. Um, I don't remember what year it was now, maybe 2019? Yeah, it must have been 2019. I was with the women's caravan from Homes on Wheels Alliance for Thanksgiving, and that was a really fun thing. Um, but a search for van life events will bring up lots of options for you. Another good place to look for events is on Instagram. Just, look for van life events there, and because a lot of the things are organized actually on Instagram. Um, there's probably stuff being organized on TikTok too. I don't know. Um, if big mixed sex events aren't your thing, then there are lots of women making plans in Facebook groups. So some of those groups would be like solo women RVers or um, let's see, I know that I'm in so many of them and it's hard to remember what the specific names are. But if you're not in the Facebook groups you wanna be in yet, or you haven't found your group, then just a search in Facebook for whatever it is that you're looking for might help you find that as well. You can also join Gala Adventures and see if you can organize something there. I am not organizing an event there, but you are certainly welcome to see if there are other women who are wanting to get together. Another option is to just completely opt out of holidays. I actually did that last year. So last year I went to Baja for November and December, coming back the day after New Year's Eve. And I just completely opted out of the whole American holiday frenzy. It was so nice and relaxing to just be in these little Mexican towns that didn't make a big commercial deal out of holidays. They definitely celebrate, but it was very different, and it was really nice to just completely opt out of the whole thing. I'm lucky in that my kids aren't real into holidays, so that makes it a little bit easier for me, and they've been on their own for a while. And they don't have little kids. So I think when you have kids who have little kids, it ends up becoming a bigger deal again. So you just have to figure out what's going to work for you and your family and all of that. So another thing you can do as a nomad is just start new traditions. Or you can change it up every year, which is what I've done. I am pretty sure I have not done the same thing for any holiday since I've been on the road these last 6 years. And I have no plans this year. We'll see what happens. But, it it's great. I love the freedom to just figure out what I wanna do in the moment. And, that may work for you, it may not work for you, but that is kind of the point of being a carefree nomad is to be able to figure out what works for you, and maybe what you choose this year, you find out doesn't really work for you, and you go and do something else the next year. You could go someplace new with friends or by yourself. So again, last year I went to Baja with some friends and had actually a big Thanksgiving with a whole bunch of escapers friends. And then for Christmas, some friends and I went for a hike. And that was the whole Christmas celebration was just going for a great hike with a couple of friends. So, um, but you can also just find some place that you wanna go and be all by yourself. Especially if, maybe you've just done the holiday thing and you've been the person doing the holiday thing for all these years, and you're feeling like it's your time to just be by yourself, and that is totally okay too. You get to decide. Another option would be to bring your family with you. So um, maybe you decide to go somewhere, maybe you rent an Airbnb or a VRBO or a hotel, something, whatever, or maybe even another van and or an RV, and then you just bring your family with you and enjoy a totally different, totally out of the box holiday experience rather than focusing on all the commercialism of our traditional American holidays. So that's another option. Um, so there are lots and lots of options for you, and I would love to hear um, what your experiences have been. Um, yes, and so I'm going to highlight this one. Exie says that she's not into holidays and it relieves a lot of stress. I totally agree. Um, that I have loved not having the stress of holidays. And if holidays are not stressful for you and they are super fun, that's awesome as well. Um, but that's not the case for a lot of people. And so just being able to just relieve that pressure valve, that we it's a whole a little more than 2-month process of just being in the holidays for most Americans, and so this is an option for you to opt out if you want to, if that is what feels good for you. Um, alright, and let's see, I can hide that one and show this one. Mary says, "I've never seen event post on Instagram, but I might follow the wrong people." Um, so I know, things like Descend on Bend post their events on Instagram, and Journal of Lost Time, and, um, oh, shoot, my friend Gather Over Yonder is a newer, event. Is it an organization? I don't know. My friend Jessica, who I've traveled with a lot, she has started Gather Over Yonder, and so that is also events that you find out about on Instagram. So I'm sure there's a bunch more. Those are just the ones that I know about. So, all right. Well, I do like to do a little bit shorter live stream on the nights that I'm hosting the discussion, and tonight is one of those nights. So if you found this video helpful, please share it and leave a comment. And yeah, and just let us know what other tips you have for nomads for celebrating the holidays, or what idea you found most helpful. And so again, this is a discussion night. So women, in a few minutes, I'll be opening up our discussion in Butter, and you can grab the link in the Gal Adventures group on Facebook. I did just realize that I forgot to pin that post, so I'll go in and pin that as soon as I finish here. And until next week, enjoy your journey.